Good
Good
morning, sir.
morning. Yeah, good morning. So we will be just continuing that problem. I think some of you might have completed that problem. So last class we have been solving a problem where you have got the integration and all I have told you to do. So we have a function e cos theta is equal to cos square theta, where omega a is used by using this equation. We have also done p n theta phi as e n square theta pi, and we have completed all these things. All of you have done the integration as well. So I have asked you to do the integration for cos is to 4 theta sin theta d theta for the limit 0 to pi by 2. All of you got this answer 1 by 5. You are able to do the integration.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So, so all of you have done that. So once you complete it, further you have to just move on with the substitution of in the above equation and then integrate it once again for phi. So integration of 0 to 2 phi is equal to 0 to 2 pi, integral of theta is equal to 0 to pi by 2, this function. This answer we got. So this answer we got it as 1 by 5. We need to get for integral of 0 to phi is equal to 0 to 2 pi d phi. So d phi and this answer you got it as 1 by 5. So further when you simplify it, you will get it as 1.26. All of you got 1.26? Have you all got 1.26? This we have done in the previous class, this problem. All of you have completed, you got 1.26. Respond to me.
This is done, sir.
Yeah, all of you got it. Okay. So one more thing we have to do here is approximate method. So where approximate method, this is exact method. So we need to do for the approximate method. Let us continue that problem for approximate method. So the equation to be used is omega a is equal to theta half power phi half power. So all of you use this equation theta half power and phi half power. So when you see here the function here it is given as e theta is equal to cos square theta and the limits are given from 0 to 90 degree. So all of you start this approximate method. Exact method you got it as 1.26. So theta half power and phi half power you need to find. So let us see that how to proceed with this in the approximate method. So the function given here is cos square theta, that is e theta. So let me continue further. You can try. You need to find out theta half power and which will be approximately equal to the phi half power. So then we'll be substituting and finding out omega a. So once you complete, see, just go through the basic equations of trigonometry. As I have already posted it in the group as well, I think, for you for reference. So you can also go through the equations of some of the methods of integration and applying the limits, integral of sine, cos square, sine cube, all this thing integration you try once. Okay, sine cube integration, cos square integration, cos theta sine theta integration, cos so all these combinations whatever it can be possible, these are all going to be problems based on sine and cos or maximum tan. Okay, so we will see the integration of all those things. Just go through all those things once for your better understanding. So we are doing approximate method. We have e theta is equal to cos square theta. Now let us see how to proceed with the problem. So here E theta is equal to 1 by root 2. You know that that is E theta is equal to 0.707. So cos square theta can be written as 0.707. So theta can be written as cos inverse of this, and you will get it as 33 degree theta. So here in this kind of problems, what we will be assuming here is theta half power will be equal to the phi half power. So what you are going to take is 2 times of theta. So or you will get it as 66 degrees. So theta and half power will be taken as 33 degree. So we'll assume that theta half power is same as that of phi half power. So 33 degree will take. So 33 multiplied by 33, you will get it as sorry, theta half power and phi half power, you will get it as 2 theta, and you will get it as 66. So 66 into 66, you will get 66 square. So omega A will be theta half power multiplied by phi half power. You got theta here. To get the half power value for theta, you know that you have to multiply it by 2. So I have explained those things in the previous class. If I go back, means I can just show you here. In the previous class we have done, that is half power is 2 times of theta. So half power has to be 2 times of theta. We got the value of theta. So half power has to be, so this is theta half power. So half power has to be 2 times of theta. What we have to see here is theta you found out, and you need to multiply it by 2. So to get a half power angle, that is theta half power. So we say that theta half power and phi half power is same. So you take 2 theta as 66. So what you get, theta half power is 66, phi half power is also 66. So omega can be written as 66 square, or you get it as 4356 square degree. So you need to apply the relationship of steradian and degree. So one steradian is so much of degree. One steradian is 3283 degree. So omega can also be written by dividing by 3283. You will get it as 1.33 steradians. So in approximate method, you got it as 1.33 steradians. In the exact method, you got it as 1.26 steradians. So that is the small marginal variation what you can see when you are going with approximate method or exact method. So all of you complete that problem, and similar type of problem, the next problem, I want you to do the integration for that. Here we are given with find the beam area of the electric field intensity pattern given by the expression En is equal to sine theta. So you are given with the angle ranging from 0 to pi. So you need to use the equation for omega A. So En is given for you. You need to find out Pn. So you need to take the square. So it will be sine square theta, sine theta d phi for the limit 0 to 2 pi and 0 to pi. So you have to do that. So it's just the integration, substitute, do the integration, find out the answer for sine cube theta d phi. So it's all you are here. Nothing is being too much with respect to antennas. If you use equation, it is done with antenna. It's all mathematical simplification. What you're going to do. So integration, substitution, trigonometric relations. You should be very much clear with those things. So and sometimes in problems, no, you might have already done the integration of sine cube or anything. So same things also appear in the examination. So just take up the combinations and check it out whether you can do the integration part. That's the only requirement here. So you should be very much clear with applying the limits, integrating the things, and finding out the right answer. So here, as I have told you, Pn theta phi is En square theta phi. So it will be sine square theta. So substitute sine square theta. So it will be sine cube theta d phi. So all of you can attempt for the integration of sine cube theta d theta d phi. Try it out what answer you're going to get for that. If any one of you get the answer, you just let me know that. It will be good from your side that you are able to complete it without any problem. So in examination also you will not find any difficulties further. So you substitute sine square in place of p and theta phi. So you'll get sine cube theta d theta d phi. So integrate for the limit 0 to pi sine cube theta d theta and integration of 0 to 2 pi d phi. So that separate you can do it and substitute it, find out the answer. Any one of you have completed the integration? See, you should have integration. You are going to be right. You will be writing gate examinations and all in the future. Integration, differentiation, trigonometric relationships. All these things are bare minimum requirement for the students. So just make sure that you are clear with all these things. So the previous problem, all of you have completed, no? Was there any confusion or doubt? It's clear for everyone? Have you all
Yes, sir.
completed the previous problem? It's clear for everyone? Okay, okay. So we will complete this problem. So anyone of you have done integration of sine cube theta d theta? So you'll get sine cube theta d theta d phi for the limit 0 to 2 pi and 0 to pi. So in the question, it is clearly written theta ranges from 0 to pi. So we have retained it as 0 to pi. In the previous problem, it was 0 to pi by 2. So we have all the small changes, things, what is there in the question. You should observe it and do it. Don't make any mistake in that. So solve for sine cube theta d theta. So any one of you have done this relationship, you should know if you are doing it. Sine 3 theta is equal to 3 sine theta minus 4 sine cube theta, or you can write sine cube theta is equal to 3 sin theta minus sin 3 theta divided by 4. Substitute this and do the integration. So you'll get it as integral of sine. I have taken integral of sine cube theta separate and I am doing it. Finally, I'll substitute and simplify it further. So 1 by 4 integral of 0 to pi 3 sine theta minus sine 3 theta. You need to do for the integration for that. Go back to the integration wherever you have studied. Just go through the basic equations of integration. It will be helpful for you. It may need at least half an hour just to go through those things. Please go through those small concepts, whatever you have learned before, and it will be helpful for you to simplify it faster. So integral of 3 sine theta minus sine 3 theta, you will get it as cos minus cos 3. Anyone of you got the answer here? Anyone of you got the answer? Harshita, Annapurna, where is
1.33?
Yeah, Dilip, who is saying?
Sir.
How much you got?
So
Yeah,
1.33.
1.33 is the answer. Let us see. So you are saying the final answer for omega. So it is you are getting 8 pi by 3. I have not done the calculation for this. So you'll get 4 by 3 here.
So 4 by 3 is 1.33 assets.
Okay, 4 by 3. So you just do for omega A, you will get it. Very good. Who has told that? Reviteja?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So I think others also might have completed. So you just completed. So you get 4 by 3. So by doing the integration, that is 3 by 4. This thing, substitute the limits, you'll get 4 by 3. And when you can just retain in fraction itself, so it is 4 by 3 d phi. So integration 0 to 2 pi, 4 by 3 into 2 pi. So it will get 8 pi by 3. So omega A will be 8 pi by 3. So here we have not been, they are not asked to find out the approximate method and all those things. Here you can just go with the exact method and you can complete this problem. If they ask you to find out using, in the previous problem, they have specifically mentioned that find omega A using exact method and approximate method. Here they didn't say anything, so we can just find out using the exact method. So omega A will be 8 pi by 3. So here integration is a key part here. Other than that, rest of the things are quite simple. So all of you have completed this problem? Are you still doing or you have completed?
1 minute, sir.
Yeah, complete. So it's not compulsory that you have to use the same method. This is easier to solve when you substitute sine 3 theta is equal to 3 sine theta minus 4 sine cube theta. You get it as very easily as 4 by 3. So you there is sometimes you can directly solve it in the calculator also. You can check it out by substituting the limits and all those complicated functions. Whether the calculator will take, I am not sure about it, but few things the calculator will give you the answer. You are missing out 1 or 2 steps. Steps are required. 1 or 2 steps if you are missing out also, you will not miss the marks for that. But the answer should be the right thing, right one. So as you know that it is permitted for you in the examination, you can make use of it. So some all problems cannot be done because some complication will be there in some of the integrations. So some small things it is possible if you are using and you know to use it. So there is a function for integration in calculator. You might have used it before also. So you can use that. So I think all of you might have completed it by this time. Next, we'll be discussing on radiation intensity. Shall we proceed further?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. So what my concern is, you have to practice integration as much as you can. It will be good for you, not only for the subject, for your getting good placements or good career or good opportunities. Okay, integration, differentiation, trigonometric relation, very basic for any engineering student. So let us move on to the next one, that is radiation intensity. So radiation intensity is defined as U, and the radiation intensity is defined as the power radiated from an antenna per unit solid angle. So this is the definition for radiation intensity. So it is the power radiated by an antenna per unit solid angle. Its symbol is U, and its unit is watts per steradian, or you can call it as watts per square degree. And the normalized power pattern can be expressed in the ratio of radiation intensity, that is U of theta phi. So we'll be using this U of theta phi. U is denoted as the radiation intensity, and it is a function of angle theta and phi. So to its maximum value. So what you're going to do is, if you want to find out the normalized power pattern, so as you know that normalized power pattern or normalized field pattern, whatever we do for normalized case, we make sure that it is done by dividing with its maximum value. So radiation intensity divided by its maximum value will give you the normalized power pattern. So all those things you can just note down. This is the radiation intensity definition for that. That is power radiated from an antenna per unit solid angle. Can note down these things. So it's completed. See, don't hang on with the problem. You can do it later also. Just try to listen here. Radiation intensity, have you completed this much? Solve these points?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we understood that it is defined as the power radiated from an antenna per unit angle. Its notation is U. Its unit is watts per steradian or watts per square degree. And the normalized power can be calculated by dividing with its maximum value. So let us just move ahead. So this is the equation for that. Pn theta phi is equal to U theta phi divided by U theta phi maximum, or S theta phi divided by S theta phi maximum. S is denoted as the pointing vector, and it depends on the distance from the antenna and the radiation intensity U. and is independent of distance. So it depends on the distance from the antenna. So how much distance it is there from the antenna, and the radiation intensity U, it is independent of the distance, what the antenna distance and all those things which is there, that it is not too much concerned with. So Pn theta phi, we will get it as by dividing with its maximum value, whether it is U theta phi maximum or S theta phi maximum. So normalized power or normalized field pattern is obtained by dividing by its maximum value. Then we'll move on to the next one. So here we are going to see few, so we have understood what is a pattern, we have understood what is a beam area or beam solid angle, we understood what is radiation intensity. These are all parameters which we are learning with respect to antenna. Now let us see that what is beam efficiency. So what is beam efficiency is another parameter. So let us see that what is beam efficiency. So beam efficiency is denoted as epsilon m. So this is the notation for that. So what is beam efficiency? The definition for beam efficiency is the total beam area. So that is total beam area is denoted as omega A, consists of the main beam area omega m. So this is one component, that is omega m, and plus the minor lobe area omega small letter m. So this is capital letter M, this is small letter m. So you need to specifically write capital and small. Don't write both capital or don't write both small. So what I will just explain you, beam efficiency is the total beam area. So that is defined as omega A. It is combination of omega capital M and omega small m. What is omega capital M? It is the main beam area. So you have studied the main lobe, right? Main lobes, you have studied side lobes, you have studied in between nulls, you have studied in the previous class. I'll just show you to make it clear for you. You have studied all these things clearly there. So you have seen that you have a main lobe, you have side lobes, you have back lobe, and all those things. We have understood this two class before. So to move ahead with beam efficiency, it is combination of the main lobe omega A. So the omega m of main lobe, that is capital M, and minor lobes, that is omega small letter m. So you need to know that omega A, that is the beam area, is combination of omega m and omega capital M and omega small letter m. So we will define the beam efficiency. This topic is to understand what is beam efficiency. So when you take the ratio of capital omega capital M divided by omega area, omega A, that is you are taking the ratio of the main beam area to the total beam area. So this is what it is called as beam efficiency. It is called as beam efficiency. So so you can say that the epsilon capital M, that is the beam efficiency, is omega capital M divided by omega A. Omega A is combination of omega M and omega capital M and omega small letter m. You should specifically write M capital, M small. Okay. So what is that capital M means? The main lobe, the bigger lobe. That main lobe, what is the area? That is omega capital M, and omega small m is the minor lobe area. So when you do the combination of both, you get it as omega A. So that is when you talk about beam efficiency, it is the ratio of omega capital M, that is the beam area of the main lobe, divided by the total beam area, that is omega A. Its unit, it is dimensionless. And now you have to see that so once you complete it, we'll just go ahead. So you can just write down beam efficiency. So the total beam area is given as omega capital M plus omega small letter m, and the beam efficiency is given as the ratio of omega capital M divided by omega A. So capital M denotes the main beam area. Small m denotes omega m denotes the minor lobe area. So that you should be clear with it. So these are all few small equations for you to understand. So this is, we have talked as beam efficiency for omega capital M divided by omega A. So there is a one more combination possible, that is omega small letter m divided by omega A. So what is that called as? So let us see that. That is called as a stray factor. That is called as the stray factor, where the minor lobe area is omega small letter m to the total beam area is called as the stray factor. So it is this is called as a stray factor, that is omega epsilon small letter m is equal to omega small letter m divided by omega A. This m capital M small is having lot of meaning. If you change it to capital, it will become beam efficiency. If you change it to small, it will become stray factor. So write it properly, okay? So that is called as a stray factor. So you can just note down these equations. So beam efficiency, omega A equation, omega capital M plus omega small letter m, and beam efficiency is given as omega capital M divided by omega A. That is ratio of main beam area to total beam area. And stray factor is omega small letter m divided by omega A, that is minor lobe area to total beam area. So you can say that epsilon m plus this epsilon capital M plus small letter m is equal to 1. That is, the combination of beam efficiency and the stray factor is taken as 1. When you add the summation of beam efficiency and stray factor, you get it as 1. So all of you completed that, then we will move on to the next topic, that is directivity and gain. So if it is asked, like explain the following, they will ask you like this in the question paper, explain the following: beam efficiency, directivity, gain, or pattern, or antenna aperture, beam solid angle. So anything, they will, whatever the patterns are there. So based on the marks, they will ask. So there may be 2 parameters to be explained, or there may be 3 parameters to be explained. So that is how the questions will come. So they will be asking you to explain each and every parameter. So you need to write these equations and explain that. So it's not that difficult. So let us, it's clear for everyone. Let us move further.
Yes, sir.
So next is directivity and gain. Okay. So we will understand the directivity and gain. So what do you mean by directivity and gain? So it's a very important thing for you to understand the directivity and gain. So mostly asked in most of the question papers, or here and there, they used to put this concept of directivity. Even in lab also you will be doing it. So directivity of an antenna is the ratio of maximum power density, that is P theta phi max to the average value of over the sphere as observed in the far field of the antenna. So we'll be studying what do you mean by far field and near field in the upcoming topic. So where we will, if you take an antenna, you can say that if the receiving antenna, whatever you are going to keep, it is close by to the transmitter antenna, you call it as it's in the near field, and you move it very far from the antenna, you call it as far field. You have another name called as Fresnel zone and Fraunhofer zone and all those things we will be studying as the antenna field zones in the upcoming topics. So before going to that, just here what you have to understand is directivity is P theta maximum, P theta phi max divided by P theta phi average. So that is maximum power density to the average power density, average power. So that is defined as D, and that is given by this equation. We have lot of equations for directivity. We'll be studying many different types of equations and its relationship with different parameters. So those things we'll be understanding. So directivity is a very important concept to understand, and it is a dimensionless ratio, and most of the cases it will be greater than or equal to 1. So directivity is a dimensionless ratio, and it will be always greater than or equal to 1. So these are some of the things that you have to remember, so that when you do some problems, no, when you find the directivity, it should be greater than or equal to 1. It should not go less than 1. So those things you have to be careful. So if you're getting it, means you are going wrong with that problem. Okay, you can straight away understand that some mistake you have done. So write down this equation, that is P theta phi maximum divided by P theta phi average we told. So what is the equation for average power density? So average power density is given by using this equation, the same equation what you studied. Only here you will be seeing 1 by 4 pi integral of 0 to 2 pi, 0 to pi is the same thing, P theta phi sin theta d theta d phi. So the same equation, we now also you did the problem based on this equation. So you can say that it is 1 by 4 sin theta d theta d phi. I have told you always to remember the sin theta d theta d phi can be replaced as d omega. So few things you go through when I am teaching you all these things, it will be helpful for you, so that you can get through all these things faster. You can understand the things faster. Sin theta d phi, we have studied it as d omega. So just in place of sin theta d phi, I have substituted as d omega. These things just now also we completed substituting these things. Then we are doing it d is equal to P theta phi maximum divided by P average. This is P average. So we got it as P average is 4 pi 1 by 4 pi integral of 0 to 2 pi 0 to pi P theta phi and d omega in place of sin theta d theta d phi, which we have already studied before. You complete it. Further, we will simplify it a little more. So once you complete it, just let me know that I will proceed further. So all of you have written the equation for P theta phi average. So all of you have completed P theta phi average?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So we got the equation for P theta phi averages 1 by 4 pi integral of 0 to 2 pi 0 to pi P theta phi d omega. So let us do the substitution and see further. So what we are going to get it. Substituting what we are going to get here is. So we know that directivity is P theta phi maximum divided by P theta phi average. So it is P theta phi maximum divided by, we are substituted for P theta phi average. So I have substituted the same equation here. So what I am going to do is P theta phi, I have written this theta phi maximum, I have taken it down. So I wrote it as P theta phi maximum d omega. You can write it. So P theta phi divided by its maximum value is called as the normalized power. So we wrote it as Pn theta phi. So you got 4 pi divided by integral of 0 to 2 pi, integral of 0 to pi. Since you are dividing by its maximum value, you can say that it is P theta phi divided by its maximum value is called as Pn theta phi, that is called as a normalized power pattern. So you got the equation in the denominator as numerator 4 pi, it will go. So 4 pi divided by integral of 0 to 2 pi, integral of 0 to pi Pn theta phi d omega, or in simple form you can write it as 4 pi by omega a. You know that omega a is integral of 0 to 2 pi 0 to pi Pn theta phi d omega. So I have replaced this as omega a. So directivity, most of they will be asking you what is the equation for directivity. Straight away you can say that 4 pi by omega a. So what is the equation for omega a is the next question. So it will be 0 to 2 pi 0 to pi Pn theta phi d omega. What is d omega, sin theta d phi? So it's very easy for you to remember all these things. What is normalized power? Normalized power is ratio to the maximum. So what is that? Pn theta phi is P theta phi divided by its maximum, P theta phi maximum. So you note down these things. So here what you have to understand here in the problems also we'll be doing a problem to find out directivity. So you may have to use the equation 4 pi divided by omega a. So you have to first find out omega a, then substitute it and find out the directivity. So directivity is the ratio of the area of the sphere 4 pi steradians to the beam area omega a. So that's what you have seen in the equation, that it is ratio of 4 pi divided by omega a of the antenna. Smaller the beam area, larger the directivity. So you know that beam area is in the denominator. So smaller the beam area, larger you will be getting the directivity. So if you want to improve the directivity to larger value, you make sure that you have to make this beam area a smaller value. So this equation is very important. Put it in a box. That is D is equal to 4 pi by omega a. Very important equation to solve problems as well. So here one more equation you need to understand, that is approximate method of finding out directivity. As you know that omega a is theta half power and phi half power. Let us just substitute omega a in the equation. So it will be 4 pi divided by theta half power phi half power. So that can also be one more equation in directivity. So that is D is equal to 4 pi steradian divided by theta half power phi half power, or you can write it as 41,253 square degrees divided by theta half power phi half power. This is approximate value of D. This is not the exact equation for D. Exact equation is 4 pi divided by omega A. This will get the approximate value for D. So directivity D of an antenna is defined as the ratio. This is the same thing as the ratio of maximum radiation intensity U max to the average radiation intensity U average. So it can also be defined as D is equal to U max divided by U average, or it is 4 pi U max divided by 4 pi U average. So that is all about the directivity. Next is gain. So we'll be studying gain in the next class. So just I'll brief you this directivity, then we will go on to the gain further. So directivity, you got it as U max by U average, another equation. So it is U 4 pi U maximum divided by WT. WT is called as a total power radiated, or it is given as 0 to 2 pi 0 to pi U sin theta d theta d phi. So all these equations you will be using. So these are different equations you can say for the directivity. So you can note down these things. So that is all the equations for directivity. You got directivity as 4 pi by omega A. You have to substitute omega A. You get one more equation for that. You can write directivity in the approximate form as 41,253 square degrees divided by theta half power into a phi half power. You can also write directivity in terms of WT. So that also you got the equation for that. So these are the few equations in order to find out the directivity. So we will stop it here with the directivity. You can all note down these things, these equations. We'll be starting with gain and subsequent antenna aperture and all those things in the upcoming classes. So you can just note down these equations. So that's all for today. You can note down and complete it, and you can leave the class. Okay, thank you.